This video is about the teacher was mocked out, but a millionaire made him a director. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. In the quiet town of Maplewood, where the colors of autumn were painted on every tree, there existed an unassuming school named Willow Creek Academy. Within its worn walls, the spirit of learning thrived, nurtured by the gentle guidance of a dedicated teacher named Mr. Henry Lawson. Mr. Lawson was not your typical educator. He had a passion for literature that transcended the confines of the classroom. He believed in the power of words and their ability to shape thoughts, lives, and destinies. Each morning, he would stroll into his classroom, his heart swelling with hope, eager to ignite the same passion in his students. Today, we'll explore the magic of storytelling, he announced, his eyes sparkling. Stories connect us. They teach us empathy, courage, and resilience. His voice was warm, inviting, as he recounted tales that inspired dreams. Yet for all his fervor, Mr. Lawson faced challenges. His teaching methods were unconventional. He favored creativity over conformity. This often led to scrutiny from colleagues. He needed to prepare them for reality. Henry, Principal Adams, would often chide. Imagination once he paid the bills. In the staff room, hushed whispers often surrounded him like a storm cloud. Why does he spend so much time on fantasy? One teacher scoffed. The kids need practical skills. Mr. Lawson had learned to ignore the mockery, but it stung like the chill of early morning frost. Despite this, he remained steadfast, finding solace in the bright eyes of his students. One day, while discussing the themes of courage in stories, a timid girl named Emily raised her hand. "Mr. Lawson, can stories really change the world?" she asked. He knelt by her desk, his expression serious. "Every great change started with a story, Emily, a story that sparked a dream. Don't you ever underestimate the power of your voice." Emily's eyes lit up, and in that moment, Mr. Lawson felt a flicker of hope. He believed that if he could instill confidence in even one child, the world would be a better place. However, life had its way of testing his resolve. One chilly December afternoon, after a long day of teaching, Mr. Lawson returned home to find a letter awaiting him. It was from the school board, a notice informing him that his position was under review due to a lack of measurable progress in student performance. Dread settled in his stomach like a heavy stone. He had poured his heart and soul into teaching, but how could he quantify the impact of kindness, creativity, and imagination? Doubts crept into his mind, whispering insidious thoughts. Was it all in vain? Many nights, he sat on his worn couch, staring out into the starry sky, wondering if he should conform to the expectations of others. But deep down, he knew that he could not. He had chosen this path for a reason: to inspire, to uplift, to spread kindness through education. His resolve was tested further when a local newspaper published an article featuring interviews with parents. The article painted him as an idealistic dreamer, someone who didn't prepare children for the harsh realities of life. Willow Creek should be more about results, one mother was quoted. The article went viral, and soon social media buzzed with mocking comments aimed at Mr. Lawson. "Who needs a teacher like him?" read one post. "He is wasting our tax dollars," echoed another. Each word felt like a dagger aimed at his heart. He had tried to foster an environment of growth, and yet the community turned against him. But amid the storm of criticism, there were glimmers of support. A few parents who had witnessed the change in their children stepped forward. "My daughter has never loved reading until she met Mr. Lawson. He is doing something special," one father said during a board meeting. Their words, though comforting, weren't enough to quell the tide of discontent. Mr. Lawson decided to take a leap of faith. He organized a storytelling evening at the school, inviting students to share their own tales. He hoped this event would showcase the power of creativity and the importance of encouragement. As the evening approached, anxiety gnawed at him. What if no one showed up? What if the parents ridiculed him for his efforts? Regardless, determination surged within him. He spent hours decorating the auditorium, filling it with twinkling fairy lights and cozy seating to create an inviting atmosphere. The night arrived, and he stood before a sparse audience of parents and students, his heart racing. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his voice steady yet vulnerable. "Tonight we celebrate the stories that lie within each of us." As the students took turns sharing their stories, laughter and tears flowed. A boy shared a tale of friendship, while a girl spoke of overcoming her fears. Mr. Lawson watched, tears glistening in his eyes, as the magic of storytelling unfolded. In those moments, he felt hope swell within him. The evening culminated in an unexpected moment of grace. Emily, the timid girl who had once asked him about the power of stories, stood up. Mr. Lawson taught me that I can be brave, she announced, her voice trembling but strong. And I wrote a story about a girl who saved her village. The audience was silent, captivated by her words. When she finished, a standing ovation erupted, filling the room with thunderous applause. In that moment, Mr. Lawson realized that he had ignited something special. Perhaps the tides would turn. But just as hope took root, Mr. Lawson received news that shook him to his core. A local millionaire and philanthropist named Thomas Bennett was visiting the school board to discuss funding cuts. The rumors suggested he was ready to make sweeping changes, including staffing decisions. Panic coursed through him. Would Bennett side with the critics or recognize the potential of nurturing creativity? Mr. Lawson's heart raced as he prepared for the board meeting that could change everything. The day arrived, and the boardroom felt like an arena in which battles of ideology would clash. Mr. Lawson sat at the back, his hands clammy, as administrators outlined their plans to restructure the school. When Mr. Bennett entered, the atmosphere shifted. Tall and commanding, Bennett surveyed the room with sharp eyes. His reputation for philanthropy had earned him respect as well as fear among the board members. I believe in education that inspires, not just educates, he stated, his voice resonating with authority. Fingers pointed at Mr. Lawson, and the board members began listing his alleged shortcomings. They argued that traditional teaching methods were the only way to prepare students for the future. Mr. Lawson felt small, the weight of the scrutiny heavy on his shoulders. Before he knew it, Mr. Bennett turned to him, and the room fell silent. "Henry, why do you teach the way you do?" he asked, curiosity warring with skepticism in his expression. Mr. Lawson took a deep breath, ready to lay bare his heart. "I believe in the transformative power of creativity and storytelling. I want my students to find their voices and learn empathy. Life is more than numbers, it is about connection." Mr. Bennett regarded him for a moment, the weight of the world resting on their shoulders. "You do realize that kindness and creativity can lead to success? Dawn to you, let us explore that potential." In that moment, the atmosphere shifted. Hope flickered like a candle, illuminating the room. Mr. Lawson felt a surge of courage, and he began to share stories of his students' stories of resilience, growth, and the beauty of the human spirit. As he spoke, he noticed a glimmer of understanding in Mr. Bennett's eyes, as if a kindred spirit was awakening. "I want to invest in this vision," Bennett finally declared, "to create a space where creativity flourishes, where every student can find their story." The board erupted in murmurs, waves of disbelief washing over them. But for Mr. Lawson, the words were music, a melody of hope harmonizing with the dreams he had once feared would remain unfulfilled. And so, in that modest room, the seeds of change were sown. Little did Mr. Lawson know that this moment would be the first step towards a future he had only dared to dream. It was a beginning, a flicker of light in the darkness. Resilience was about to write the narrative. As the board members exchanged incredulous glances, Mr. Lawson felt a new kind of warmth spread through him, a warmth that was fueled by the belief that change could indeed blossom from adversity. Mr. Bennett's declaration echoed in his mind, reverberating through the halls of Willow Creek Academy. Days turned into weeks, and the atmosphere at the school began to shift. Mr. Lawson collaborated with Mr. Bennett and a team of educators to develop a new curriculum. They aimed to blend traditional academics with innovative, creative practices that would engage students on multiple levels. "Imagine a classroom where math is taught through art and science through stories," Mr. Lawson said during one of the brainstorming sessions. "We can create projects where students write their own histories, blending facts with their imagination." Mr. Bennett leaned in, excitement dancing in his eyes. "And we can host annual storytelling festivals, inviting the community to celebrate student creativity. Let us make learning an adventure." As plans developed, the school gained momentum. Parents who had once criticized Mr. Lawson began to see the changes unfolding. During a town hall meeting, Mrs. Thompson, a vocal critic, stood up, her cheeks flushing with uncertainty. "I didn't understand what Mr. Lawson was trying to do before," she began. "But have you seen my son's confidence grow? He talks about his stories at dinner, and it is wonderful." The audience murmured in agreement, nodding along. Mr. Lawson felt a swell of gratitude in his heart. It wasn't just about him, it was about the children finding their voices. However, not everyone was on board. There were still whispers in the faculty lounge where some teachers clung to their old ways. "This is a waste of time," one teacher scoffed. "Kids need structure, not fluff. What will come of this nonsense?" Mr. Lawson heard the whispers but chose to focus on the positive. He could feel the momentum building. The Storytelling Festival became a reality, an event that would showcase not just his students, but also the community's growing acceptance of the new vision. As the date approached, Mr. Lawson met with Emily and other students, guiding them through the process of creating their stories. Let your imagination run wild, he encouraged them. What do you dream about? What stories live in your heart? Emily, who had blossomed into a confident storyteller, grinned. I want to write about a hero who saves a kingdom through kindness, she exclaimed. That's beautiful, Emily, Mr. Lawson replied, pride swelling in his heart. And remember, heroes come in all forms. The night of the festival arrived, and the school was transformed into a wonderland of creativity and inspiration. Colorful banners welcomed families as students had decorated every corner with their artwork. The energy was electric as parents and children mingled, anticipation in the air. As Mr. Lawson stood backstage, he felt a mixture of nerves and excitement. "You've got this," he whispered to himself, giving himself a pep talk. The auditorium filled rapidly, and before long, the lights dimmed, casting a magical glow over the room. "Welcome to our first annual Willow Creek Storytelling Festival," Mr. Lawson announced, his heart racing. "Tonight, we celebrate the stories that lie within our students and the courage it takes to share them." As the first student took the stage, the audience fell silent. Each tale woven by the children was a testament to their growth and creativity. They spoke of dreams, fears, and the power of kindness. Laughter and tears intertwined as families recognized the beauty of their children's imaginations. When it was Emily's turn, she approached the microphone, her hands trembling. But as she began her story, her voice grew stronger, resonating through the auditorium. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the sun never shone, there lived a girl named Lila. The audience was enraptured. Mr. Lawson watched, feeling a warmth spread through him. He saw parents leaning forward, captivated by the tales that unfolded. Each story was a thread in the tapestry of resilience, weaving together the heart of the community. When Emily finished, the applause was thunderous. Mr. Lawson wiped tears from his eyes, overwhelmed by the love and support surrounding him. He looked out at Mr. Bennett, who stood with a proud smile, his eyes glistening with pride. After the festival, families mingled and shared their favorite moments. "This was incredible," one father said, beaming at Mr. Lawson. "You've helped my daughter find her voice. I never thought I'd see my son express himself like this," another parent added, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you for believing in them." As weeks passed, the impact of the festival rippled through the community. Students were more engaged, their spirits soaring as they discovered the freedom of creativity. The school began to flourish, filled with laughter, collaboration, and a newfound sense of purpose. Yet challenges still loomed. Not all teachers embraced the new approach, and some parents remained skeptical. "What about standardized tests?" one father challenged. "Will this really prepare them for the future?" Mr. Lawson took a deep breath, maintaining his calm demeanor. "Education should be about nurturing the whole child," he said. "Creativity fosters critical thinking, problem-solving, and resilience. These are the skills the LL need, not just for tests, but for life." Mr. Bennett stood beside him, reinforcing his words. "Investing in creativity is investing in our community as future." Together, they presented a united front, advocating for a blend of traditional education and innovative practices. As the school year progressed, they organized workshops for parents, inviting them to witness firsthand the power of creativity in education. The response was positive, and slowly, doubts began to fade. Parents who were once hesitant started to see the transformation within their children. One evening, Mrs. Thompson approached Mr. Lawson after a workshop, her expression earnest. "I have to admit, I was wrong about your approach. My daughter has become so confident, she even performed in her school play." Mr. Lawson smiled warmly. "That's wonderful to hear. It's all about finding their passions and letting them shine." But just when it seemed the tide had fully turned, Mr. Lawson received distressing news. A new superintendent appointed by the school board was planning to visit Willow Creek. Rumors circulated that he was keen on reinstating traditional educational methods. Fear gripped Mr. Lawson as he prepared for the meeting. Would they tear down everything he and Mr. Bennett had built? He spent sleepless nights worrying about the impact on his students, his heart heavy with uncertainty. On the day of the visit, the sun shone brightly, yet Mr. Lawson felt a storm brewing inside. As he greeted the superintendent, a tall man with a no-nonsense demeanor, a wave of anxiety washed over him. "Let us see what this school is really doing," the superintendent said, a glimmer of skepticism in his eyes. Mr. Lawson led him through the classrooms. He watched as students eagerly shared their projects and creative expressions. The atmosphere was vibrant, children were engaged, their enthusiasm contagious. As they entered the auditorium, a group of students presented their current project, a collaborative storytelling initiative that blended history and creative writing. Mr. Lawson's heart swelled with pride as they shared their stories, pouring their hearts into every word. After the presentations, the superintendent turned to Mr. Lawson, skepticism replaced by intrigue. "I must admit, I didn't expect to see this level of engagement. Tell me, how do you measure success here?" Mr. Lawson took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. "Success isn't just about test scores, it is about fostering resilience, creativity, and a love for learning. If we can inspire them to dream, they'll find their paths." The superintendent nodded slowly, absorbing Mr. Lawson's words. "You raise valid points. Perhaps there is more than one way to assess learning." As they finished the tour, the atmosphere shifted. The superintendent began to engage more with the children, asking questions and even laughing at their stories. Before he left, he turned to Mr. Lawson, a hint of a smile on his lips. "You've created something special here, Henry. We'll have to discuss how to integrate these methods more broadly." Relief flooded through Mr. Lawson, and for the first time in weeks, he felt hope bloom anew. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but he knew that resilience was about moving forward despite the challenges. As the school year came to a close, Mr. Lawson reflected on the journey they had taken together. The school had transformed into a community where kindness, creativity, and collaboration flourished. The impact of their work was evident in every child's smile, every story shared. Standing at the front of the auditorium during the final assembly, Mr. Lawson looked out at the sea of bright faces. "You are all storytellers," he said, his voice brimming with emotion. "Your stories matter. They can change the world, and I am so grateful to have been a part of your journey." The applause that followed was thunderous, a wave of appreciation resonating through the room. In that moment, Mr. Lawson realized that the greatest gift he had given his students was their belief in their own potential. Together, they had written the narrative, proving that even in adversity, hope, resilience, and kindness could prevail. And as they moved forward into a new chapter, he knew they would continue to inspire each other and the world around them. As summer whispered its goodbyes and autumn's crisp embrace settled over Maplewood, Mr. Lawson found himself at a crossroads. The school year had ended on a note of triumph, yet beneath the celebration lurked a relentless uncertainty about the future. With the news of the new superintendent's enthusiasm for traditional methods still fresh, he felt the looming specter of change. "Do you think he'll want to undo everything we've built?" Emily asked one afternoon. They sat together on the school's sun-dappled lawn, the remnants of summer still vibrant in the air. Mr. Lawson glanced at her, his heart heavy. "I don't know, Emily, but remember, our voices matter. If we share our stories and show what we've accomplished, we can stand strong together." The school community had thrived through their storytelling festival, the creativity and confidence of the students blossoming before their eyes. Yet worries about the new superintendent's potential pushback kept Mr. Lawson awake at night. He found solace in his students. They were living proof that empathy and imagination could forge a brighter path. Weeks passed, and the whispers of the community grew louder in anticipation of the upcoming school board meeting, where the superintendent would unveil his plans. As Mr. Lawson prepared for the presentation, he enlisted the help of his students. "Let us show them how powerful creativity can be," he proclaimed during a gathering in a library, the walls filled with colorful art and unfinished stories. "We'll create a presentation that captures the heart of Willow Creek Academy." Laughter erupted among the students as they brainstormed ideas. Emily suggested, "Why don't we perform a scene from our stories to showcase how much we've learned?" "Brilliant!" Mr. Lawson exclaimed, his heart swelling with pride. "We can illustrate how storytelling has helped you grow, how it has taught you to express yourselves and think critically." In the days leading up to the board meeting, the students worked tirelessly, rehearsing their performances and refining their narratives. They poured their hearts into crafting dialogue and scene changes, overwhelmed with excitement and nerves. "I know we can do this, Mr. Lawson," Emily said, her eyes sparkling with determination. "We were ready to show everyone what we can achieve." Finally, the day of the meeting arrived. The boardroom buzzed with anticipation, tension crackling in the air as parents and teachers gathered. Mr. Lawson's heart raced as he looked around the room, filled with familiar faces, each of them a thread in the fabric of their school community. "We're here today not just to present numbers or assessments," Mr. Lawson began, his voice steady, "but to share the stories that define who we are, stories that illustrate the growth of our students through creativity and resilience." He introduced the students, who took their places on stage, a wave of enthusiasm washing over the audience. First performance unfolded a poignant scene depicting a boy who learned that bravery was not the absence of fear, but the courage to embrace it. Through their enactments, the students brought their stories to life, each tale echoing struggles, dreams, and the enduring human spirit. As the final performance concluded, the audience erupted in applause, a chorus of appreciation resonating through the room. Mr. Lawson's heart soared, tears brimming in his eyes as he beamed at his students, their faces flushed with pride and accomplishment. "Thank you," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "You've shown us all the power of imagination and kindness. I believe our approach to education can change lives, and I need your support to ensure this vision continues." As the room fell silent, Mr. Bennett stood up, applauding enthusiastically. "What I've witnessed today is not just creativity, but the embodiment of what education should be, a place where students thrive. We must embrace this movement." But just as hope began to settle in, the new superintendent, Mr. Collins, stood to address the room. His brow furrowed, a skeptical expression on his face. While the performances were admirable, we must remember that success is ultimately measured by standardized outcomes, not just creativity. Mr. Lawson felt a chill run through him. The tide had turned, the community's enthusiasm was met with resistance. "With all due respect," he replied, his voice steady, "education is not solely about test scores, it's about shaping human beings, fostering resilience, and nurturing creativity." Mr. Collins raised an eyebrow, visibly unimpressed. "I appreciate your passion, but results speak louder. We need to focus on what can be quantified." Emily stepped forward, her resolve unshakable. "But Mr. Collins, we've learned so much more than just numbers. We've learned to believe in ourselves, to dream. Isn't that worth something?" The room fell silent as Mr. Collins' expression softened. "Your passion is commendable," he conceded, turning to Mr. Bennett. "But can we truly integrate this with traditional methods?" Mr. Bennett smiled, sensing an opening. "What if we develop a pilot program? We can gather data over the year, comparing both creative and traditional approaches. That way, we can demonstrate the benefits of this method while still addressing concerns." Mr. Collins pondered the suggestion, his demeanor slightly shifting. "Very well, let us see if this can work, but it must meet the standards we've set." As the meeting adjourned, a wave of relief washed over Mr. Lawson. The community rallied around him, excited to see how they could impact the direction of their school. In the following months, as the pilot program unfolded, Mr. Lawson and his students worked hand in hand, documenting their journey with careful precision. They tracked not just grades, but the growth of confidence, creativity, and collaboration. With every milestone, they shared their successes with the community. One evening, while preparing for a community showcase, Emily approached Mr. Lawson with wide eyes. "What if we created a project where we invite parents to share their own stories? We could show the connections between generations." Mr. Lawson's heart swelled. "That's a beautiful idea, Emily. Let us call it Stories Through Generations. We can bridge the gap and see how storytelling connects us all." As the event approached, parents began to share their own stories, tales of resilience, love, loss, and hope. The gymnasium transformed into a tapestry of voices, tears, and laughter as families listened to each other with newfound appreciation. At the event, Mr. Lawson watched in awe as parents stood alongside their children, sharing their stories woven with love. He felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment, knowing they were creating a legacy that would last beyond the classroom walls. But challenges still loomed. The new program faced scrutiny from traditionalists, questioning its effectiveness. How can creativity help when students still need to pass tests? One teacher questioned during a faculty meeting. Mr. Lawson took a deep breath, maintaining his calm demeanor. Creativity fosters critical thinking. Students learn to solve problems and approach challenges with innovation. That is success in the modern world. With each challenge, Mr. Lawson leaned on his students. Their enthusiasm fueled him, a reminder of why he chose this path. They were living proof of the transformative power of education grounded in love and imagination. As the school year drew to a close, Mr. Lawson stood in the auditorium, reflecting on their journey. The community had come together in ways he never envisioned. The laughter, the stories shared, and the relationships forged were a testament to the strength of their resilience. "Tonight, we celebrate not just accomplishments, but the connections we've built through our stories," he said, his eyes sparkling. "Your voices matter, and together, we can create a better future." The room erupted in applause, a wave of gratitude washing over him. As he looked at the faces of his students, parents, and community members, he felt an overwhelming sense of hope. And in that moment, he knew that they had not only rewritten the narrative of education at Willow Creek Academy, but had touched the very essence of what it meant to be human. Together, they embodied the spirit of resilience, forever inspiring, forever hopeful, and forever united in their shared stories. As the school year came to a close, a breeze of hope swept through Willow Creek Academy. Mr. Lawson stood in the auditorium, gazing at the vibrant faces of his students, parents, and community members gathered for the annual Stories Through Generations event. This was a celebration of creativity, resilience, and connection, a culmination of all they had worked for over the year. Tonight, we celebrate not just our achievements, but the stories that connect us, Mr. Lawson said, his voice warm and encouraging. Every one of you has a story to tell, stories of love, courage, and dreams. Together, we create a tapestry of hope. The auditorium buzzed with excitement as parents whispered to their children, sharing their own stories while anticipation filled the air. Emily, the brave girl who had once hesitated to speak up, sat next to her father, her eyes shining bright. "I am so nervous, Dad," she confessed, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I just remember what Mr. Lawson said," he replied, squeezing her hand. "Your voice matters. You've worked hard on your story. Just share it from your heart." As the evening unfolded, stories poured forth, tales of resilience that painted the struggles and victories of both the young and the old. A mother shared how she overcame adversity after losing her job, inspiring her children to pursue their dreams. An elderly man recounted a heart-wrenching tale of his immigrant journey, finding solace and strength in his family's love. The stories flowed effortlessly, each one leaving an imprint on the audience's heart. When it was Emily's turn, she stood up, her heart pounding. She walked to the microphone, glancing at her father, who offered a reassuring nod. "I wrote a story about Leela, a girl who saved her village through kindness," she began. "In a kingdom where the sun never shone, everyone was sad." As Emily wove her tale, Mr. Lawson could see the audience captivated. Her voice grew stronger, resonating with the authenticity of her words. Leela realized that the villages needed each other, she continued. She gathered them to share their stories, and with each story, the sun began to shine in their hearts. Tears brimmed in Mr. Lawson's eyes as he witnessed the transformation taking place before him. The audience erupted in applause at Emily's powerful conclusion, a testament to the strength of connection and compassion. The love in that room was palpable, a reminder of why he had fought so hard for this vision. Once the applause settled, Mr. Lawson took the stage again, humbled by the magic he had just witnessed. "Thank you all for your bravery and openness. Emily's story reminds us that kindness can light even the darkest days. It's about finding strength in one another." As the event concluded, a sense of unity enveloped Willow Creek Academy. Parents and children mingled, sharing their stories and experiences. However, as the celebrations continued, the reality of challenges loomed nearby. In the midst of the joy, whispers of resistance persisted. Skeptics questioned the effectiveness of the creative approach. Weeks later, the tension came to a head during a faculty meeting. Mr. Collins, the new superintendent, expressed his concerns. "While I appreciate the enthusiasm here, we must not lose sight of academic standards. Results are what matter." "Mr. Collins," Mr. Lawson started, his heart racing. "Our students are thriving creatively. They're redeveloping critical skills that will serve them beyond standardized tests. Isn't that worth pursuing?" "I understand your perspective," Collins replied, frowning. "But we have to demonstrate that this method works with quantifiable results. Can you guarantee that?" A wave of anxiety washed over Mr. Lawson. "I can't guarantee test scores," he admitted, "but I can guarantee that we re-nurturing resilient, confident children who believe in their potential." Mr. Collins remained unconvinced, and the meeting ended with uncertainty hanging in the air. As Mr. Lawson walked through the halls, he felt a heaviness in his heart. Would all their efforts be undone by the rigid expectations of traditional education? The following days were filled with sleepless nights and quiet worries. He knew the importance of creativity and education, but could he convince the skeptics? Despite the uncertainty, Mr. Lawson found solace in the laughter of his students, their joy a reminder of the purpose behind his fight. One afternoon, as he sat in his classroom, Emily approached him with a concerned expression. "Mr. Lawson, are you okay? You seem worried." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It is just there are people who don't understand what we were trying to do. They only see numbers, not the transformations happening in your hearts." Emily tilted her head. "But we've grown so much. I feel different than I did at the beginning of the year. You helped us find our voices." A smile tugged at Mr. Lawson's lips. "You're right, Emily, and that's what I need to remember. If we can show everyone how powerful our stories have been, maybe they'll all start to see it too." Inspired by her words, Mr. Lawson decided to organize a community showcase, a gathering to demonstrate the progress they had made. He envisioned an event that would highlight the students' growth through creativity and storytelling. "We will present our projects and the impact they've had on our lives," he told Emily during lunch the next day. "Can we invite the parents to share their stories too?" she asked, her eyes sparkling. "I think that would show how all our stories connect." "I love that idea, Emily. Let us involve everyone. It'll be our way of showing the heart of Willow Creek Academy." Together, they brainstormed ideas and plans. With the help of Mr. Bennett, they organized the showcase, inviting parents, community members, and even the school board. The day of the event arrived, and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. The gymnasium was transformed into a vibrant space filled with colorful displays and artwork, showcasing the students' creative journeys. As families arrived, the energy in the room was palpable. Mr. Lawson welcomed everyone, his heart racing with anticipation. "Today, we share not just our accomplishments but the connections that bind us as a community. Every story matters, and together, we can create a brighter future." Emily and her classmates took turns presenting their projects, each story woven with passion and emotion. When it was Emily's turn again, she stood confidently before the audience. "Remember my story about Leela? It taught me that kindness can change everything," she shared. "I believe we can be like Leela. If we share our stories, we can save our village too." The audience erupted in applause, and Mr. Lawson felt tears of pride welling up in his eyes. After the performances, parents began to share their own stories, tales of struggle, hope, and love. The room was filled with laughter and tears, the connection between generations palpable. As the evening drew to a close, Mr. Collins stood to address the room. "I want to commend all of you on the incredible work you've done here. You've shown that education is more than just numbers. It is about nurturing the whole child. I am impressed." A wave of relief washed over Mr. Lawson. It was a small victory, but a meaningful one. "Thank you, Mr. Collins. We're really proud of the progress we've made, and we're really eager to show that creativity fosters critical thinking and resilience. Perhaps we can work together to integrate this approach into our curriculum," Collins suggested, a hint of a smile breaking through his typically stern demeanor. "Let us collaborate and see how we can make this a model for other schools." With that, a new chapter began for Willow Creek Academy. The community rallied around Mr. Lawson, standing together in support of creativity and connection. As the school year unfolded, they navigated challenges with resilience, always returning to the heart of their mission to nurture the potential within every child. Months later, at the end of the school year, Mr. Lawson stood before his students once more at the final assembly. "You have all shown incredible growth, both as learners and storytellers," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Your voices matter, and tonight we celebrate not just your accomplishments but the community we've built together." The applause echoed through the auditorium, a beautiful symphony of gratitude and hope. In that moment, Mr. Lawson realized they had not only rewritten the narrative of education at Willow Creek Academy, but had touched the very essence of what it meant to be human. Together, they embodied the spirit of resilience, forever inspiring, forever hopeful, and forever united in their shared stories. And as they moved forward into a new chapter, he knew they would continue to uplift one another and the world around them, one story at a time.